Hello everybody and welcome back to the Lagoon. On this episode we are going to be talking about the top 5 fish for beginners. So let's get started. Now coming in at number 5 is really just the staple fish for basically any aquarium, and that is the bristlenose pleco. So the reason why this one is for beginners is mostly because of how hardy they are. I had this fish whenever I was first setting up my first 10 gallon, whenever I was getting into the hobby as a child, and it went through all kinds of abuse. I'm pretty sure it was the longest living fish in my aquarium. It went through ammonia swings, the cycling, and all of that stuff that I just completely messed up. Not to mention it's completely functional, and it's a great worker, one of the best algae cleaners that you can get, and it's very readily accessible, which is why it is number 5 on this list. Now coming in at number 4 is the zebra danio. Now this is one of those fish that have been in the aquarium hobby for so long, and it's just been through so much abuse. Even the experimentation that goes on is they usually pick a zebra danio for that, mostly because they're egg spreaders, they're not live bearers, so they like spread their eggs out. But yeah, basically why it's great for beginners is also because it is very readily accessible and it's an extremely hardy fish. Not to mention that the zebra patterning on them is extremely cool, and kids really just love them. So I usually recommend them for a lot of people that are trying to start to get into the hobby. And it also usually stays mid-water to higher water. So yeah, a lot of people just enjoy that and just watching them go back and forth because they're an extremely active fish. And they stay together. They're a shoaling fish, which is kind of like schooling, but they don't really form like tight schools. So they'll stay together, but they won't be like uniform, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's why they are number 4. Coming in at number 3 is the white cloud mountain minnow. Now, the primary reason for this fish being on top 5 fish for beginners is because it doesn't require a heater necessarily. It's usually fine with room temperature water and cooler water, which makes it great for outdoor ponds as well. But yeah, people that come in and are worried about plugging in a heater, or they worry about it malfunctioning, this is great for them. I noticed that a lot of beginners don't really have a heater. They usually have smaller, like 5-gallon aquariums, which is why I usually recommend this fish, particularly for those colder water scenarios, and it can just take a whole lot of abuse, and it's a pretty hardy fish. So yeah, that's why it is number 3. Number 2 on this list is the black skirt tetra. Now, it's a little bit different from the white cloud in that it does require a heater. However, it makes up for it in its hardiness like 5 times. It's not the most active fish, however, it can go through a whole lot of abuse. It can go through ammonia swings, nitrate swings, all of that stuff, and it can just bounce back hardier and better than ever. It's just an amazingly hardy fish, and it's great for any tropical community aquarium that you have set up. And it's a great community fish, and it's just great for beginners. But yeah, that's number 2. And coming in at number 1 should be no surprise to anybody ever, and that is the betta fish. The number 1 reason for this is because it takes more abuse than any other fish in the hobby. It's been adapted to live in smaller conditions as far as tanks go. They can go through a lot of swings and water parameters. And yeah, they're just an extremely hardy fish. I definitely do recommend keeping them with a heater. That being said, a lot of people don't, and they don't really have that many problems with it. But yeah, it's just, I don't think anybody could argue that there's a hardier fish out there, really. So yeah, the betta is definitely number 1. And actually, I should add another reason is because it can breathe air like we do, atmospheric air, because of a special organ that it has in its body called the labyrinth organ. And that's really the main reason why it's so hardy and doesn't have to adhere to water parameters as its sole way of breathing oxygen. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.